Hi, I'm Cody Bowman with Nokia CNS. I lead solutions for North America. I'm here with Sana Tariq, who's the principal architect for TELUS in Canada, and in the CTO office there. We're discussing the expansion and transformation of the concept of autonomous networks into the telecommunications industry and the challenges that TELUS is facing in trying to reach some of the levels of automation and the autonomous network vision that we have for the industry. So Sana, I know that we've talked about the shift of to autonomous networks, and some of the challenges relate back to the actual business approach and network operations and transforming how you operate and manage your network today. Also, security plays an important role in that. How do those three elements work in unison with each other, and what is TELUS doing to try to implement the capabilities those challenges are placing on your business?
Thanks, Cody, for the interesting question. I think the vision for autonomous networks is very important for all the telcos. And for autonomous networks, we really need to ensure that we have the fundamentals addressed, which is automation, organization of our data, and ensuring that security is with the new norms and principles in a very cloud-native way. Automation is easier said than done. The complexity of our network today is at a point where our automation becomes extremely difficult. One of the missing pieces for our automation is following the cloud-native principles, and we have seen that over the years that our transformation from physical network functions to virtual network functions and to containerized network functions has not actually enabled us to be at the point where automation can be simple. Mm-hmm. Security is an important point which has not evolved as we have evolved over the journey of this cloudification. As automation is adopted, it expands our threat surface, and for security, we are still following the legacy ways of like putting security in virtual firewalls and making our security principles following the legacy ways. If we have to adopt the security principles of the new era, we have to think about it in a way that we apply Gen AI and AI into threat prevention and in enabling that security is following the cloud-native principles. Mm-hmm. And then the other challenge that we talked about, data, is also a very important part of this vision for autonomous networks. Data today is siloed, it's in legacy protocols, and it's really difficult to kind of flexibly work with the data sources and bring good quality data into a source where you can actually leverage the Gen AI and ML capabilities out of it. And I think those are the challenges that we need to address so that we can move towards autonomous networks.
That makes perfect sense, especially on the data part. That is indeed a pivotal element in ensuring that models can be trained properly for agentic AI, generative AI, and those are going to be so critical, as you point out, especially as we reach the quantum computing level. It's going to create a situation where we have to fight fire with fire effectively, because that's what will be put into that position. So beyond the challenges, let's look at the art of the possible. Let's look at why we're doing all this and where is it going to take us. I know we'll be shifting, our hope is to shift the customer experience for industries and for consumers dramatically. And what is TELUS's vision for being able to use autonomous networks and redefine connectivity for your business?
Yeah, so Cody, you're saying that let's imagine an era in which we have simplified automation in place, we have more cloudification, we have more softwareization, and we have a good quality data enabled, which is setting the foundation for us to use generative AI and build. I think at that point, your operations can be fully autonomous. With that kind of a model, you can generate new services, new APIs almost on demand. Intent could become the source of your revenue. And I think that's a very powerful era to imagine. Connected cars, IoT, telco APIs, all these new services could be created by intent. And I could almost imagine agentic AI is going to be applied everywhere, and we would have a fully autonomous world kind of driving its own revenue. You and I would have to find jobs for ourselves at that time.
Fair point. So that brings us to that programmability piece of the equation. So do you see TELUS embracing that kind of concept, the network API concept, and putting that into practice?
Yes, Cody. This is a very important vision for TELUS to kind of drive. We have already made some progress on the telco APIs. Now extending that vision to kind of a broader adoption of telco APIs, having multiple aggregators and having the multiple exposure layers, offering it to developers or B2B or B2B2C, all of that expansion is basically a work in progress. You talked about having the underlying programmability of the network and how it connects to our ability to be able to expose these APIs. I think the underlying programmability and agility of your network is basically directly proportional to the time you can basically expose these APIs faster to the market.
Yeah.
And the more programmable and agile your underlying network is, the easier it is for you to kind of expose these APIs and write these APIs out. And all the telco APIs are about time to market. If you are falling behind in writing an API and a hyperscaler has delivered a worse version of that API, for example, a location API out faster, developers will adopt that. So I think it's very critical for telcos to drive the vision in a way that we have faster time to market for development of all those new APIs. Today, the 5G core network and the telco network is basically a living and breathing network with all the consumers' data, everything that means to the developers about knowing the customer, who that customer is, where that customer is. The information is in our network and we are the ones who can actually monetize that. And it's our opportunity to work on the strategy of telco APIs and be able to monetize as fast as we can.
That's a fundamental shift indeed, from network monitoring and to service monitoring and behaving or looking at the behavior of the network as the end user sees it and perceives it. And so being able to measure it and control it that way, that's quite phenomenal. So I think we're a bit out of time, but thank you for your insights. It's been very valuable and appreciate you spending your time with us today.
Thank you so much, Cody, for having me here.
Well.
Thank you.